Who was Shreyas Royal before there was Shreyas Royal? That is, who was England's top junior only about a decade ago? Well, that would be Grandmaster David Howell, and we're going to take a look at how when he was a teenager, he learned from the classics. But before we get to this awesome tactic by Grandmaster Howell, make sure you hit the subscribe button just in case, you want to learn some more. Okay, now what did David do when he was a teenager? Well, in this position, he's got a lot of pieces forming near the enemy king. Did he drop the bishop back? No, he did not. He went for glory and played the unbelievable bishop takes h6. Now, in the actual game, the king took back, but due to the openness of the h file, Black actually got himself mated pretty quickly. What I want to do is show you what would have happened if the pawn had captured the bishop. Now, he does want the bishop to be able to go back, but if you move the bishop back right away, his opponent is not just going to roll over and let all of these discovered attacks and possibly double checks happen. Black could play a move like f5, block the diagonal, cross his fingers, and hope to survive. So, what did Grandmaster David Howell do? He played, or would have played, unbelievable knight f6, and this is called interference. Some people call it obstruction, but on ChessKid land, we call it interference. It's interfering with this pawn's ability to move forward. Now, when the knight is captured, the pawn can't move. His own piece is interfering. Then David would have brought the bishop back to give check. There's only one legal black move, and then the very simple queen to e4, making a battery, and good luck stopping checkmate. Queen h7 is coming, and even if your king tries to run away, well, his own pieces actually interfere. In fact, this bishop is interfering with the king, not just the pawn. It's like double interference, and David would have still given a checkmate. Really cool to block that f-pawn. Now, where could he possibly have learned this idea? Could it have been from a ChessKid video? Actually, no, ChessKid didn't exist when he played this game, but we covered this idea in a game with Bobby Fischer. Ever heard of him? Probably. Let's take a look at what Bobby Fischer did. If this position looks familiar, it's because you're probably deep into the king levels and you've done our lesson on interference. But if you have not, let's review what Bobby Fischer did in the 1963 US Championship. He also wanted to double team the h7 square. However, if you play the somewhat obvious move, e5, then Black can actually block with the pawn. And even though Black might lose the knight, Black can get the knight right back, and Black survives to see the next move. So you're probably already figuring out what Mr. Fischer did. He played rook f6. He just put his rook where it can be captured, but it's the same idea. The pawn cannot move, and when the bishop takes, or even if it doesn't take, the point is the f-pawn is blocked. Then Bobby Fischer would have played the move pawn to e5, and although you can technically put the knight on one of these squares, Bobby would just capture with his bishop, and checkmate is coming on the h7 square. And even if the king moves, well, it's actually very similar to David's game. Queen takes, and the bishop even gets in the way of the king. Of course, I realize there's also a pawn on that square. Learn from the classics, learn from ChessKid, and whether you're going to be England's next top junior, you can be your best chess self by learning interference.